one. Well, hello, 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 hello. Good evening. To some of you, maybe it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good night to a few of you, but you are tuned in to Leading Ladies, Leaving Legacies, Living Legacies. Legacies that are important to us now and for the future generation. Delighted that you're here. And tonight, our guest is going to be sharing with you a lot of really good information about what it takes to become an empowered lady. A leading lady can be a leading lady, but she has to learn how to be empowered. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Our guest, Laura McPhee, is a joyful goddess. Don't you love that name? She's a speaker, a healer, and a coach. And she's young and absolutely wonderful in the work that she's doing. She loves to empower women to live their dream life, and to learn how to truly love themselves, letting go of what's been holding them back, including the little voice that tells them they're not good enough. Haven't we all heard that voice? I have, and I'm sure many of you have. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to ask you to get involved in the show and ask us a lot of questions because we want you to be involved. And need I say, thanks for joining us. Now, what I'm going to do is invite and ask our guest to come over, and I'm going to ask you to welcome Laura McPhee. Laura, welcome and hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
I am honored and delighted to have you here. I have mentioned to many people who are getting to know me and those who know me how much I adore young people because I believe in blending a lot of the old with the new. Now,
Yes.
a little bit, I only read a little bit about your background, but
Mhm.
what we want to hear from you, hello, hello, hello. I see we have a few guests here. Tell us how you came to do the work that you're doing and tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing.
Yes, definitely. So the big part of my journey was when I was in the corporate world.
A lot of feedback.
Ooh,
Let's see.
is
Okay.
that any better if I turn that down? Does that
Yeah,
sound better on your end?
yeah. Turn it down.
Perfect. So the biggest start of my journey was when I was in the corporate world and I was just going along being like, I'm busy but good instead of actually enjoying life. And I found that I was a huge people pleaser and perfectionist and workaholic, and it was very unhealthy for me. So looking back at my life compared to where it is now, it was actually miserable without knowing it was because everyone else around me was living the same life. We were always busy but good and serving everyone else before us and putting our own needs and wants and desires on the back burner.
May I just stop you for 1 second because you gave us a mouthful there, Laura. You
Hmm.
said a perfectionist, and you gave us lots of other things that you were about that so many of us women have
Mhm.
been or are about. And
Yes.
when did your awakening come? When did you say, enough is enough? I've had it.
In 2015, that was a big, like, I can't do this. I was headed towards a burnout. I could see how unhealthy and unsustainable my lifestyle was going to be. Just keep achieving and keep getting more letters after my name and just going for more corporate success because that'll bring me happiness, right? Like, it's like, no, that wasn't what was going to fulfill me or fill up my cup in any way. So I decided to switch it and got on this beautiful path of spirituality. I met my theta healer and life coach, and it kind of went uphill from there.
That was a huge step for you to take because that meant that for a bit of time, there would be no income. And even with your education and your certification and all of that, unless you were doing something part time, how did you compensate financially for making that big transition?
I actually did it in a bunch of baby steps. So I did the big leaps whenever like that nudge came to be like, okay, you need to quit your corporate accounting job. But I went to kind of like a half pay job in between. So that was kind of basic bookkeeping instead of what I had been doing as corporate accounting world. So that really supported me as I got my certifications, as I got the training that I needed, and as I learned how to create a conscious, heart centered business instead of the way that most businesses are run. So it gave me a nice cushion in between. I didn't immediately stop working.
Yeah, so you said that you stopped and you started in 2015. How
Yes.
many years did it take you to be able to start your new spiritual, holistic type business and have substantial income from it?
So I started doing happiness coach and healer. So that was the original title that came through to me and that I was doing. I did that last May. So May of 2017, I did that full time and I did it in two cities. So that's how I was able to like sustain myself, was that I was traveling back and forth, and it kind of worked well because I had a long distance partner at the time. So I stayed with him when I was traveling
Uh-huh.
and did the hustle and did the masculine energy output thing. And now this year I'm doing a lot more feminine flow and harmonizing that balance so that it's not as like workaholic in nature like I was before.
I get that. I love your little giggle. I like that laugh.
Thanks.
It's adorable. Now, how did you come to the title Joyful Goddess? Because in my mind, Laura,
Mhm.
all women are goddesses.
Yes,
Many of us don't know it.
I completely agree.
All women are leading ladies. Many
Mhm.
don't know it.
Yeah.
So how did you come to this title, the Joyful Goddess? And what gave you that name that you now use in your practice?
I'd say that it's God, creator, source energy, the universe, because it just came to me. And honestly, when it first came to me, I had so much resistance to it because I was like, well, my friends, like, I have a friend who calls herself a spiritual goddess, and I have another friend who does joyful goddess gatherings. Like, I'm not their caliber yet. Like, in my mind, I hadn't achieved this next level of like feminine embodiment and like leadership and all the things. Like in my mind, I wasn't as equal as them, even though I'm like, well, I'm sort of getting to the queendom and the goddess energy because I'm like incorporating more of these wonderful ladies into my life. But myself personally, I wasn't seeing myself as that. So when that title came through of like, you need to step up and empower other leaders and other light workers and just like be this bright shining light and be a joyful goddess, I had so much resistance and fear around that I had to work through before I could even say it to the public and be like, I think my next step is like empowering women on the next level on their journey and doing deep work and healing sexual traumas and moving through so much of the past stuff that people have that holds them back, but it's totally in alignment with what's going through in the universe right now with Me Too and Time's Up and the like divine feminine rising. So I'm like, of course, I'm a joyful goddess and this is my title now. But at the beginning, earlier this year, I was like petrified to call myself that.
Well, I'm delighted that you took that name because I think it's a great name and I think it
Thank
fits.
you.
Now, you mentioned something before, and a question that I had for you, you've answered it, but I want you to go probe a little bit deeper, the type of
Mhm.
people who come to you. I
Mhm.
know, dear Laura, that you are a certified, am I pronouncing this right, theater healer? How do you,
Yes, theta healer. It deals with your theta brainwave.
now that's new to me. I'm not
Mhm.
that familiar with that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that deals with your subconscious mind. So every night when you go to bed, you naturally go into different brain waves, theta being one of them. So it was very interesting because my old corporate accounting logic based brain didn't want to get into all this like woo woo healer stuff without any kind of like background or case studies or anything like that. So I really liked that if you really wanted to, you could look up information that people can get their heads put into the things where they see what brainwave your head's doing and actually see that you're going into a theta brainwave. That made me feel like it's not too like woo woo, whatever this energy Reiki stuff. Like it felt like a safer in between go to of a healing modality for me to start on my journey with. And it's so powerful because it dives deep into subconscious beliefs and gets them at the root. So you don't have to go through every single negative circumstance that you've ever gone through for every single pattern. You can go to the root of it and clear that, which will heal everything going forward, which is very beautiful.
I like it. Let me tell you what's making me chuckle on this side because you're
Mhm.
using uh, some verbiage that I use often. You said,
Mhm.
because a lot of people, when it comes to cosmic healers and the
Mhm.
spirituality universe and the holistic way of thinking and moving about the whole spiritual arena, that
Mhm.
word woo woo is
Yeah.
what is how many people look upon it. That's how they
Mhm.
see it. That's how they view it.
Mhm.
And most times, this is a broad general statement. It's
Mhm.
because they've not really dwelled into their inner being and self at all. Because
Mhm.
if you have the knowing is the key, that
Yeah.
there is so much more than what we
Mhm.
see, hear, smell, taste, and all of that. How
Yeah.
about, did you can blend the two, the theta healer and master Reiki practitioner? Do you use those together, or how do you
I
combined?
started to this year, which was really fun because I just started doing Reiki, um, I'd say in 2016, because it was the year following my big awakening. So I just did it for myself. I was called to it and I wanted to be able to do healing work on my own body whenever I had aches or pains or stomach aches or whatever that came up. I wanted to be able to use it for myself, but I'm extremely empathic. So when I did my first level of Reiki, I felt everything so much more intensely. So I had to like numb it down. So I was like, nope, not gonna offer this with clients ever. This is just a me thing. But I've become so strong in my boundaries and the ability to clear energy and the way that I work with people that I can easily tap into their energy now with Reiki and clear myself off with theta and combine both of them so that they can get into a deeply relaxed state so that they're even more open and receiving to energy when I do theta, so that they're not in their heads and giving their like head ego answers to things. They're truly coming from a heart space when they're super relaxed. Even the distant sessions where they're laying at home in their own bed, feeling super happy and warm, and then I can just do the distance Reiki and throw in theta healing downloads as well, and then give them intuitive guidance at the end for what their next best steps or recommendations could be. Because then it is so much more powerful for them because they get into a deeper state and they feel it more. They can like connect it into their own inner knowingness more when I combine it, which is really fun.
I hear you loud and clear. Now, I asked before, but I wasn't definitive with the asking. And I know this is not an easy question to answer, or maybe I'm assuming too much, but give us an outline, an overview of the type of people who come to you, Laura, and why they come to you.
So I typically get those recovering workaholics and people pleasers or codependents or control freaks. It's the old versions of me who are going through their journey. And more often than not, this year especially, I've been getting women who are light workers or healers or entrepreneurs in some way, or entrepreneurs where they're wanting to make their side hustle, their side business more in the light instead of kind of just hiding it because they're scared that people are going to judge them or their family is going to think they're crazy to try to do this instead of their full-time job. Like, I adore that I'm living my dream happy life that I had 2 years ago. Like everything that I put on my vision board and on my manifestation list, I'm living right now. So I'm like, you can do it. Like it's only that negative voice in your head saying you're not enough, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you can't find the resources, all those negative things that are holding you back that you can choose to let go of. Like you can literally find the limiting beliefs that are underlining all their fears and all their worries and all the things that are keeping them stuck or holding them back so they can be moved forward. And I'm all about being the change you want to see in the world. So we have to do that inner work on ourselves first so that we can show up and be that light for our friends and our family members and our community and our clients and have incredible ripple effects in the world.
I absolutely go oogles over that because you have to start with you. And to be the change in the world, it has to begin with you. So I get that completely. Now, tell us, how do you market for and how do you get these women and men, I'm sure as well, to come
Mhm.
to you? Might be a smaller percentage, but I'm sure that you get male clients as well. How do you market and get them to come to you? Because in point of fact, I know, you know, and many in the audience will know that it's not an easy transitional step to take. And yet, if you're on the path to getting to know who you are and why you're here, sooner or later you will make that and take that step. So, how do you market for this person to come to you?
So mostly I deal with women. I think I've only had like two men clients this year. Mostly women are attracted to me, and I know and resonate very well with women. And I'm very much about owning our power as women because I feel like we as women need to rise up because we're all the mothers of the world. Like if every single mother of the world could just love herself and share to her son and daughter that they love themselves and that they can show up being respectful and honest and a good human being and taking care of yourself and all these incredible aspects, that would just ripple out. Like if everyone decided to do that, the next generation would be so much better. We could just make the world a better place by every single mother loving herself and showing that and embodying that in her work. So I really feel strongly called to women, and the way that I draw people in is through a number of ways. So I do free challenges, that helps. I do webinars. I do my love and light show. So every once in a while, I'll get new people from that who are like, "Ooh, I really like your energy. Can I get on a clarity call with you?" And we just make awesome connections.
Yes, I like that. listen, while you're talking about that, then let's mention, or you can mention to the audience, the one
Mhm.
who comments, puts a
Yeah.
comment in the comments, just saying, hello, how are you, Laura? Hello, Joy. The more comments that are listed, the highest number, they will get what with you? What is the complimentary that
They
you
will get a complimentary 1 hour session with me, one on one, so we can dig deeper into what they're going through right now. So if they're like, I have some limiting beliefs, or I think I'm like stuck in this thing, or like I really want to get to this place in my life, we'll dive deep into their limiting beliefs, what's coming up energetically for them, and move them forward. And I also have coaching as a background too. So I love marrying coaching in with theta healing to help with those digging deeper questions to get to the root of their problems and the root of that like one little 2 millimeter shift that they can move on and create success with instead of going in the negative direction that they may have been experiencing.
Ah, that's great. That's great. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to connecting with people, this is an area that as much as it's always been, but it's exploding now in
Mm-hmm.
the atmosphere.
Yes.
And yet, when people come to you, there has to be that X, I call it the X factor of why they're connecting with you. They have to
Mm-hmm.
feel what with you, Laura? Safe.
Mm-hmm.
They have
Yes.
to know that what they're exchanging and sharing with you is with you and you only, and that your gift is to help them to get stronger and get better in whatever steps they're looking to take.
Yes, definitely.
Now, the bottom line is what you're doing, it's still rather new.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
And, and so a lot of people are hesitant. It's a lot of woo woo and hoo hoo, and they're not sure. How do you allow them to see and to know the merit of what you're doing?
I'd say that I'd have more of those last year when I was beginning my journey, and I'd have a lot more people who would be asking, do you take insurance? Does insurance cover theta healing? Is that kind of like Reiki? How's Reiki and theta healing and coaching? What do all these things mean? I feel like I had a lot more of that then. Now I'm attracting a lot more people who are already into energy healing modalities and are just like, you're my next step. You're my person because when I was in that older energy, I was very much in the saving people and being like, yeah, I'll drag you along. Like, we can make this work. Like, I'll do 110%, even if you're only showing up doing 20. Like, I was in it and there to help and support and serve everyone, no matter where they were at. And I've got a lot more energetically strong with my own personal boundaries and who I serve and support. Because I'm here to serve. I'm not here to save them and pick them up from wherever they're drowning in and trying to pull them into this world if they're not ready for it yet. So I love that the energy I'm in now, I'm attracting different types of clients.
What you just said is so powerful. You
Mm,
know that you're here to serve.
yes.
You want to save, but that's not your purpose.
Yes. There's so much more resistance in that saving because they're not ready for it. And it's creating resistance in their life to their next best step. So it's not the best to enable people.
Understood, understood. Now, when it comes to what you're doing as far as working with people, and especially women, to help them uncover all of those little voices, negative voices, to build better relationships with themselves and with others, because life is really about relationships.
Yes.
How are you, what are some of the ways and means that you are offering to this person, this woman who comes to you, who wants to get more in sync and in tune with herself? Because know thyself has been from the beginning of time and it will be until the end of time.
Yeah.
So, back in my time, Laura, there was this expression, love yourself, love yourself. So everybody was going around saying, I love myself, I love myself. But
Yeah.
it didn't take a rocket science to see, no, they don't love themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as evident as it needs to be. So how do
Yeah.
you help? I mean, we've talked about some of the things, the theta therapy and the Reiki, but what are some of the other tools and means and tips that you share and give to people to help them to get to know and understand themselves first? Because that's the first step in my mind.
Yes. I definitely encourage people to say I love you because it's very interesting that the people that I draw in, at least, they don't want to say I love you to themselves. They find it unbelievably uncomfortable and gross to look
Interesting.
at the mirror and say I love you to themselves, or to be naked in the mirror and say I love you without nitpicking themselves, or saying, this is wrong, I failed here, this is ugly, this is blah. Like, I failed in all these different ways, and completely beating themselves up and going into a downward spiral just about their appearance. So I encourage them to start with themselves. So I love that you were talking about know thyself first, and a good place to get with that and to know which of your next steps is best for you, because there's so many like gurus and coaches and books out there that could support you or that could be your next best step. And sometimes people really beat themselves up because they don't know which one is actually for them, and they try to do all these different things and they're not consistent with anything. So I love encouraging people to get to know their inner being. So like that gut feeling, that intuitive nudge to get quiet so that you can hear it. So if that's doing Reiki on yourself, if it's going for a quiet, peaceful walk in the woods, or meditating, or going for a long bath, whatever gets you quiet and away from all the like hectic, crazy noise in this world that we're in right now, so you can listen to it and be like, okay, this is my next step, best step. And follow that and be like, yeah, I do feel called to doing some more self care right now. I do need to give myself a nap. I do need to drink more water. I really do need to nourish my body. My body is feeling off right now. I need to have more vitamin C in my life right now. And following those next best steps that your inner guidance system that is always right is telling you, instead of like listening to all the stuff outside of yourself.
That was absolutely beautiful. Let me say this to you. We have a lady here, and I want you to address this because, and I want you, Nicole. She says,
Mhm.
"Hi, ladies. Love this. I'm so excited. This
Yay!
is happening." You know,
Wonderful. Yes, I do.
she said she's so excited,
Yay.
and so are we, Nicole. We're excited as well that this
Mhm.
is happening. Now, what do you think she means that this is happening, Laura?
Well, I guess it would be depending on when she put the comment in, if she was excited about which part of the topics we were talking about. We've talked about so many things, or maybe just having two beautiful, joyful goddesses on together.
Let's take that one.
Yes.
My friend Elaine is here. Elaine, hi. She's always here. She's one of my loyal and faithful. I love the people who show up here, the women and the men. One of the things that's become quite prevalent in my life, and I see it all around me, is that's why part of my five package, I have the female trailblazers, the agents of change, the heart-centered leaders, the cosmic healers, and the purpose-driven women.
Yeah.
Those are the five that encompass what leading ladies are all about. Some
Beautiful.
women have all of them, some women have a couple, some women are in the process of. You are without question a cosmic healer. There's no question. But I think along with that, we can add two or three others in there as well. You said, I heard you say earlier, in addition to what you're doing work wise, that
Mhm.
you're very empathic.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, more about that.
So I would say that I first discovered that when I was a child, when I was trying to make everyone around me happy. So I didn't know the word empathic to put that label on it at that age. However, looking back at my life, I'm like, yeah, when I was putting my own needs last, trying to make everyone else okay so that I could maybe be okay, then I was like, those were really unhealthy times when I didn't know what I wanted or my needs or my desires. And I was just going with whatever everyone else wanted me to do, what my parents wanted me to do, and how I could help and serve and support everyone else. I was super into volunteering. I did a part time job at a very young age. I was going, helping, helping, helping all of the time. So I'm like, wow, I really took everyone else's feelings and made those my priority at all times. So it was unfortunately perceived as like this big curse in my mind at a young age, because I'm like, I can't handle it. Like I had to numb out. Like I would watch TV to numb out, and I would do different things to be like, I can't handle this right now. So I'm just going to like escape my own little world where I don't have to care about everyone else's stuff all the time. But now that I have the tools and modalities and skills, that I'm able to be like, yeah, this is the biggest blessing of my life, because I can easily connect to my clients and feel what's going on in their body, to feel where what they're saying is energetically off. And it's such an incredible value point for me to be able to be like, yeah, I can just see it and it's there. Where when you're living in it, you can't see it. You're like, you're just in it, versus having that objective third party be like, this.
Laura, you explain that brilliantly. That is so crystal clear, and the
Mhm.
clarity is just there. I take that word and I add to it knowing. There's a
Yeah.
certain knowing that you have, not that you always act on it, but you have it about yourself and you can see, sense, and feel it in others. So those two together makes up for a very empathic person.
Mhm.
Let's
And that's
say
really
this.
cognizance too, when you just know.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. That's true. I want you to mention again for the people who are here, because we're going to wrap this up in a second,
Mhm.
what they need to do in order to get a one-on-one complimentary session with you, and how many times they have to compliment or make a comment rather, and say hello or hi, Laura, Joy, whatever. We
Mhm.
can count them up, and they will be entitled to get. And I don't like the word entitled, but for you and this particular message, it's okay. They will they'll be able to get a one-on-one session with you.
Yeah.
Hello, Roz. Roz is here. Thank you for dropping by. She always, here's another. I have the best loyal and faithful audience. We're all busy, Laura, but they all bounce and pop in whenever they can. And every time I see them, I go, "Ooh, yippee." Tell our audience again about what they have to do in order to get a one-on-one session with you.
Yes. So while we're still live, engage, engage, engage with us. So ask any questions. I'll even answer some questions after the show as well if you guys are catching the replay. But for the people who did show up live, we're going to end it when the show ends and the people who commented the most. So if right now everyone's commented one time, I'll put all of your names in a hat. Or if you want to keep commenting, who comments like 3 times or 5 times, that person will be the winner because we love when people engage with us. So you're going to get a one-on-one session with me to dive deeper into where you're at in your life so we can move you forward to a happier and healthier life. So that'll be super exciting.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And thank you so much for offering that. So
Well,
grateful. One of the things, Laura, that happens with this show is I try to keep it between 25, 30 minutes max.
perfect.
And it goes so quickly.
It does, yes.
It just flies by. But before we say so long for now, I don't like goodbye.
Mhm.
Is there anything that you want to ask me or the audience, or is there anything that you want to share about what you're doing, what's coming up next? All
Mhm.
of your tags, your links, all of your information will be put onto Joy's TV, and you'll get a link that you can use however you like so that people can
Beautiful.
connect and connect with you to get to know you. But in the meantime, if there's anything you want to leave us with before we say so long for now, now is the time.
Awesome. Well, I also was talking to Joy about giving you guys a freebie. So I'll also be sure to put in the comments and send you the link of a free webinar on how to live a happier life right now so that you guys can get different tips and tools to really dive deeper into more self-love and self-care in your life, creating an attitude of gratitude, because being in that loving, grateful energy will really support you in creating that dream happy life with law of attraction and focusing on the good that's already in your life. And it also talks about boundaries and assertiveness skills, which I feel are so important for women to have so we can truly show up and love ourselves and be that change that we want to see in the world, shining our light and really affecting positive change. So I definitely wanted to give you guys that freebie to really support you more on your journey. And also, I'm going to give you guys a 25% off coupon for a digital program for living a happy life that'll support you on your next steps if you're feeling called to. After you watch that webinar, you're like, oh, I want to dive deeper into either of those steps. That'll be the program that's right for you, for your journey. And I love the fast action people who are like, yes, I'm a huge seeker on my journey. I love rewarding people who are huge seekers. So if you're like, yes, this is my next step, I'm here to support you on your journey.
I am so happy that we connected.
Me too. Very grateful.
I am as well, because for me and the women who are here and the guy,
Mm-hmm.
most of them know that for me, it's really a blending of and when I say old, I'm not necessarily meaning age, life experience, work
Mm-hmm.
experience, relationship experience, all experiences, and the young who are starting out. I like the blending of both because
Yes,
we grow and we evolve together. So I
definitely.
really work to always stay in touch and in tune with young people. I am honored and delighted that we have met, that we will always be connected, and I
Yeah.
will stay in touch and in tune with you. And you gave us a beautiful ending. So I thank you for coming to share time and space with us. I'm going to put you to the side for just a moment or two while I say goodbye to the audience. Yet I will be back myself to say so long to you. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
Send you guys so much love. Thank you.
All righty. What can I say? I think I've said it all. And I think Laura explained and expressed to us so clearly what she's about, her work, why she loves it, how she made that great big transformational switch change to a better life, a fulfilling life. Isn't that what we're all looking for? That's what we're all about. I hope those of you here in the audience, Elaine, yes, Elaine says great information. I hope that you will type in a few more comments, whatever. Hello, good to see you, because Laura and I are going to add them up, and the one who has the most comments will get that one-on-one complimentary session with her. And it's well worth it because you can tell, I know you can, the heart, when the heart is there, it doesn't matter all of this. You know it, you feel it, and you sense it. And with Laura, that's a fact. You can see it, you can feel it, and she speaks it. She's walking her truth, so to speak. So, once again, it's always good to see you. I'm always happy when you show up. And I know, like Roz, who bounces in and out, my loyal and my faithful will always be with me as I will always be with you. So until we connect the next time, which will be next Tuesday night at 7, and again, another leading lady next Wednesday night at 7. We have a lot of excitement on the drawing boards, my friend. I know I've been saying this for quite a while, but I don't have to qualify. Everything takes time. And we don't want to bring anything to you that's piecemeal and not put together, not perfect, but in the best way, in the right way. And soon we'll be bringing a lot of things to you that you will merit by, and it will be good for you. In the meantime, have a great week. Have a great weekend. It's always good to see you. Nicole, I haven't met you before, but it's good to see you here. You know Laura, and that's good enough. So be well and take care. All the best until we connect again and soon. So long for now. Cheers.